Exploration is, and always has been, central to humanity. From our earliest ancestors, who discovered fire, made tools and used agriculture, to the man on the moon, we have always had a desire to explore.
It's how we learn about the world around us. From the first moments we are born, we start discovering, we start exploring. Today, it feels like we've seen it all, that we've sailed all the seas and flown all the skies, but the reality is, there's always something new to discover.
Using a new piece of technology called a microbial fuel cell, Professor Ioannis Ieropoulos has been finding new ways to generate electricity. This electricity can be used to power anything from robots to mobile phones. I travelled to the Bristol Robotics Lab to meet Ioannis and talk about his research.
People knew a bit about it, but it was more of a scientific curiosity rather than anything else. So the research question was, can you take this technology, understand it, and even more, develop it to something that can power an autonomous robot?
And that's exactly what he did, powering robots using nothing but the energy generated by bacteria. Ioannis never approached this research with any specific goal in mind, but instead approached it like we've been doing for thousands of years, as an explorer. This kind of research is called blue sky research. When we ask why the sky is blue, we're not looking to solve a particular problem, we're just curious. Blue sky research approaches science in the same way, through exploration. By using this approach, over 20 years, Ioannis applied the microbial fuel technology to create the project P-Power. This uses urine to generate electricity and can power lights in vulnerable communities.
Municipal wastewater is extremely rich with organic matter. It is actually one of the messages that we're trying to convey with this work, that wastewater for us is a waste that goes down the drain, and then we either don't want to know about it or don't really understand what's happening. Is a valuable resource.
With the theory well established, Ioannis went on the road to explore this technology in the real world.
The scaled-up version of the microbial fuel cell technology, which is behind P-Power, has been initially trialled here on this campus. Mm-hmm. It was in 2015 that we had the first P-Power, and that was actually a suggestion by Oxfam. So Oxfam were then explaining to us how dangerous toilet environments are in refugee camps, even for the very closely knit communities in refugee camps. At night, because there is no lighting, it's a place of crime, unfortunately. And the most vulnerable are young girls and women.
And not only was P-Power used in refugee camps, Ioannis also trialled it in a school in Uganda.
It was 2016 when we first went out to Kisoro, Uganda. It was again driven by need. This was a all-girls secondary boarding school in rural Uganda. The toilet blocks were not lit, and therefore there was still crime happening at night because there were intruders. We built a system and we connected the microbial fuel cell module of that P-Power system directly to the lighting of the toilet block. And with that, we had lights in the cubicles, but we also had a light outside the cubicle, which was lit all through the night to illuminate the path to the toilet. And that made it safer for the girls.
And so it's clear that P-Power has had a real impact on the lives of vulnerable people. The reason this technology came about was through blue sky research funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
In this kind of environment for so-called blue sky research, funding is everything. Mm-hmm. And this would only come from external sources. There isn't enough funding internally to be able to support this kind of work. This is over the last 10 years alone. This is several million of funding that have come through the different programs, and it's important to understand that it's not the money aspect of it, it's the support that's required to do this kind of work, because it does require people to be able to think outside the box, and in order to do that, people need headspace. If people are worried about funding and deadlines and end of contracts, then it's never going to happen.
Research like this has no other objective than to teach us something new, and yet, as we've seen with Ioannis, it can often stumble across useful applications. Blue Sky Research continues to get the funding it deserves. Then who knows what discoveries could be made into the future?
Good.
Oh, one take!
Yeah.
Yes.